Hi, I'm going to start off by saying I think the robots are better than me. I'm planning to make a title similar to this. Why I'm saying that is because I might have a job, a hobby, I might be professional about something, but I can't be professional about everything. And I can't know everything, I can't learn everything. I definitely don't have enough time to do everything. It's a very common concept and a wish to be able to clone yourself. Why anyone think that cloning yourself is going to be better is because you won't be have to do the chores or the hard stuff anymore. You're just going to do the things you enjoy, you want to do, and your clones are just going to help you with the things you don't want to do. A similar idea is just having robots around your house or in your life. They can be your personal assistants, they can help with everything in the house or outside the house. When I say they are going to be better than us, I don't mean they are going to be better than any professionals. I mean they are going to be better than any casual, regular, everyday people, because they are going to be trained on lots of data for a very long time, and their training and experience is never going to stop. It is going to keep getting bigger forever as long as a company exists. They are going to share that data between every robot. Maybe some robots are not even going to have local hardware. They are just going to be connected to the cloud. Like a big scary hive mind, they are going to be able to just know everything. And robots being better at everyday stuff is actually good for us. I don't want to do the chores, I don't want to clean the house. Like there are things that I'm passionate about, I'm just not passionate about cleaning the dishes. So a robot doing that faster than me and cheaper than me, then I'm all in for it. Think it like having a car. There's an initial investment and there's some maintenance and some running costs, but it is better than walking everywhere. And definitely don't get that one wrong. If you are living in a good European city, think it like investing in a bike. A bike is better than walking in long distances, it is more efficient. Anyway, you get the idea. A robot is going to cost something, but it is going to be better than you just doing that job yourself. If you want a utopia, if you are dreaming about a better future, you know that most daily jobs we do are not because we want to do them, but because we have to do them. Actually, main two reasons are because you and your family need money and the society needs that job to be done. I'm not actually comparing between jobs here. All jobs are important for world to function. I'm pointing out that if you don't like your job, in a better future you should be able to do something you like. Of course, because of how the economy works, this is a very deep conversation. But if we cut it short, if something is easily done with robots while also being cheaper, then it is also going to benefit the society, at least mostly. Just like in the modern times, you can now find cheaper materials and better availability of items overall in relation to before mass production was a thing. After an even wider robotic revolution, in our lives most things you are paying for can get cheaper. Yes, corporate greed and billionaires might be in the way, but I have hope for humanity to demand better for themselves. We can demand better lives and conditions. I believe that when people are relieved from some daily chores, the extra time will give you more options to do whatever you want. Go to the gym, learn piano, meet with friends, and do a family trip. Do any hobby you like. I don't like thinking that hard work, physical jobs are mandatory for the humans. They can be given to robots. You can still do physical activities to stay healthy. Most of those jobs are not healthy and they are dangerous. Not to mention some jobs are boring or depressive or hard on you in any other way. It's fine if you are happy with your job. I just believe that everyone has something they are good at, and when given the opportunity they can make a living out of those. But today's conditions force everyone to immediately picking any available job, and most people end up in jobs that they don't want to do, or even always threatened by being replaceable. So all I'm saying is, someday some underpaid jobs, boring jobs, unhealthy jobs, repetitive jobs, inhuman jobs are going to be replaced by robots. And when that happens, I believe it is going to leave more room for your actual skills. World loves utilizing all of the humanity. Economics are built on growth. I don't think anyone will be left out. So all humans are going to be doing something. And what I'm hoping for here is new available jobs are going to be built upon thinking, creativity, and skills. And all this doesn't have to exclude people who are already doing great jobs. A very skilled carpenter can still be a carpenter. There's always going to be a demand for highly skilled professionals. Even if you're not doing your old job, you can probably manage that job now, or give directives, or design some new stuff. Maybe you are going to audit it, or control it, or make it even more efficient. So my point is, humanity is not going to stall on this. We are not going to be doomed by robots. We are going to use them to get better and live better lives. Maybe the initial transition decade is going to be hard on us, but we are going to thrive on it once we all find our place. We were always good at being more efficient and building new tools. And it is what we are going to keep doing with robots. And this is not a propaganda for robots. I'm not associated with any robots brands or with any corporations or wealth families or conspiracy theories. This is just me hoping for a better future. And we are definitely going to have some different shaped robots, like some of them are already here. We have robot vacuums. Lots of people already have them. They are a great convenience. And also Amazon is investing into having some other robots for carrying cargo around their warehouses. Our lives are going to definitely change around this. It's a complete new lifestyle. Also some jobs are going to change around this and some new jobs are going to appear. But it is definitely coming because humans are always evolving into being more efficient. That is where we separated from other animals. We are building and using different tools. We are harvesting and utilizing more energy, and we are building systems and integrating everything to work better. But we are always starting by mimicking the nature. So of course the first thing we are going to try to mimic is the humans. That is why we are going to have humanoid robots in a couple of years. Also it is easier to human-shaped things to exist in our world because our everyday lives are adjusted to our sizes. For a robot to freely move around and to freely access and use everything, it is going to need arms and legs that are similar to us. It needs to use the stairs, it needs to pick up something, it needs to be able to crouch like us, get as small as we can get as tall as we can get. If you're going to have a specialized robot like robot vacuums, it is not going to be able to do all the tasks. So when I see a humanoid robot, I really think that there is no limit to what they can do because they are going to be like us. If I can do something, they can do it, and they can maybe do it better. I imagine a farmer having a couple of humanoid robots. Farmer is just going to give some verbal tasks to them and they are just going to start doing it. They are going to drive some vehicles, they are going to do heavy duty work, they are going to walk around the animals, and when they see something they are going to analyze it and report it back to you. These are really just around the corner because online AIs are already there. They can visually analyze stuff and talk back to you. So the only part left is integrating this with a physical body and letting the AI learn how the real world works, how they can walk around and do stuff. Just like a baby, every encounter they are going to have, every experience is going to be saved there, and it is probably going to take less than a year for them to learn how the world works. So the minimum price we ever seen is actually $3,000, and that's an open source project that you have to build it yourself. That's only the hardware cost, and it is not actually ready for real world usage, but it might be closer to this. Let's say it is going to be $10,000. I live in a second world country, and here $500 is the minimum wage, and Turkey actually sits in the middle of the average world income. The more you go towards the first world countries, you are going to get higher prices, but even in here, having a full-time mate is going to cost you around double the minimum wage. You are going to hire someone to do your chores for 5 times a week and 8 hours a day. But if you can buy a robot, you are going to have a helper 24/7. Like, it might need some charging sometimes, obviously, but maybe it is going to just swap the batteries. Sometimes maybe little updates or some maintenance times. But how long can that be? So hiring someone comes down to something like $12,000 a year. If you can buy a robot from that same price, wouldn't you want that? And when it comes to having privacy and having your own space, I think it is better than having some stranger in your house. If you are hiring someone, you are obviously going to trust them to some degree, but it is just better to have an automated robot. All your privacy or trust issues is going to be about the company. So if you are not trusting the company, you are not going to trust your own robot. But we have all these computers and gadgets and phones, so we trust to some company up to some degree. So I think everyone is going to have their favorite company and they are just going to stick with that one. Maybe we are even going to see more local processing done in the robots. I also wouldn't want to send my footage back to the servers, so it's probably going to be a mix of everything. Probably the robots are going to have some updates from time to time, and they are going to have some internet access to maybe search something, and it would be cool for that setting to be optional. And I'm sure from thousands of companies are trying to achieve this feature right now. At least some of them are going to get it right. So I was actually going to add another part to the end of the video. I found this footage of a robot working for an hour. It was not what I was expecting. It is like watching a human doing a job for a first time, and it is trying to learn it, it is making mistakes, but it is working there without being bored. So that is where we are different than robots. They are not going to get tired. They are not going to get bored about something. We are not going to program feelings, at least actual feelings, into them. We are definitely going to make them lifeless in the inside, and we are going to try to make them appear as a lifelike to us. And that is actually better. We shouldn't give them life. We shouldn't give them thoughts. It would be torture for them to have a life like that. So yeah, keep them as basic as possible. We definitely don't need a global robot uprising. Anyway, I'm going to publish that video separately. If you are interested, then go ahead and check that out. What are your thoughts about this topic? Do you think we are very close to having these robots in our lives? Do you think it is going to get better or worse? Do you feel threatened by them in the means of maybe privacy or having a stable job? Let let me know in the comments down below. I would have loved to see you here again, so please subscribe and thank you for listening.